Virtue and Vice, and I am Virtue, being joined by the remarkable Robbie Vice here on the BigVitoBrand.com. What's up, man?
I do not have coronavirus, but I'm still doing my part. I am staying inside. I have left to go on a walk or go to the store for the past 2 weeks, and that's it. So just staying in, watching wrestling, and trying to keep myself sane. The hardest part of this whole thing is now I've worked from home forever, and that's been fine. I don't have a problem with that. But now my girlfriend works from home, and we spend 24/7 together, and we can't leave. So that's the trying part that I've just exposed to the entire internet. But it's fine. It's just gonna take some adjusting. I like my solitude.
Do a show with you. Noel might want to do a show with you for the BigVitoBrand.com to get into the weeds with that. That might be an interesting topic for one of her things.
Yeah, it's. I think that's the most challenging thing from this is just. I don't have a small apartment. I have, 2 full bathrooms, 2 bedrooms and everything like that. But man, sometimes when you're stuck here for a couple of days at a time, it doesn't seem big enough.
There you have it. Well, you know what? How about let's talk. We've talked about WrestleMania and WWE the past couple of weeks. And obviously with Mania coming up here, still with the recorded shows, 2 shows, we're going to probably be talking about it afterwards in the fallout. Let's talk about some AEW again today. The reason why I wanted to bring this up because I tweet things and I mean what I tweet, but sometimes on Twitter I can put virtue mode on, correct?
Not you, Virtue.
So here was my tweet that I would like to read, and then this is going to lead into our discussion. I actually did this one last night. Any wrestling fans who are, quote, cringing, unquote, over the Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho segment and say they don't get it or it's played out, well, you're all fucking losers that can eat dog shit. Was I wrong by saying that? Now, when people come to me and they say, hey, I get why, or explain to me why you like something, here's why I don't, and it turns into like an intellectual conversation, not just I fucking hate this.
Right.
It's Twitter, right? Do I disrespect people on video? All the videos we've done together, no DQ? No.
No, yeah.
So what's your take on that? Am I right or wrong? I think this is great. And so when I see people shitting on this angle with veterans of the business like Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy, who have a lot of creative control because that's what AEW allows, they're doing this. Let them do it so we can see how it plays out. Don't, it didn't work with TNA. They never got back on the, back to 1 million plus viewers. WWE, Vince McMahon didn't even want anything to do with it. I can't stand people when they say, I think this is great Shakespearean level content. Go. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the segment, first of all, we're going to talk about the segment. The segment was good. The segment was a solid segment. The teleportation and stuff like that, it was fun. And I'm the first one to point out when I think things suck, as anyone who's ever followed this channel knows about my feelings about certain people that work for that company. With that being said, what you said, while inflammatory near the end of it, no, you weren't wrong. It's absolutely true. Look, I look at things and I try to keep some rules when I do these wrestling reviews. One, I'm not a wrestler. I don't work for any wrestling promotion. I most likely never will. This is my hobby. I talk about things I enjoy because I enjoy talking about them. With that said, I feel like a lot of these personalities and people on Twitter, on the internet, take themselves way too seriously. Like, this isn't your only job, Virtue. This is a hobby that we do. And some of these people we as fans have these podcasts, these things, because we want to talk about our opinions, because we're invested in the product. But you have these people who just want to do nothing but shit on everything that comes out. And these are the so-called experts. Yes. These are the so-called dirt sheet writers and things like that, who most likely have never had any contacts in the wrestling industry whatsoever. It's just that people have used the internet probably in the early 2000s. I would say was a really good time for these wrestling journalists to lie to people about sources and do things because it was unprecedented. And now those people have been here long enough that people just listen to them because their name's been around for a long time.
And sometimes they give good, valid opinions.
Everybody gives good, valid opinions sometimes. It's how serious they take their own opinion. That's what bothers me. I'm wrong constantly. I like my opinions. I like what I have to say. But when it comes down to it, first of all, it matters not what I say whatsoever because Vince McMahon will run his company. Tony Khan will run his company. Whoever bought TNA at a garage sale will own that company for a while, right? But it doesn't change anything. And I'm not up my own ass about it. So.
Yep. Dude, and here's the thing. Like, when you have veterans of the business, like Matt Hardy and Jericho, and they're doing great, and they're going to be Hall of Famers, and then they do something like this later in their career to try to bring in casuals or bring in people that might think wrestling is boring and we know it's fake. Why is so people into these matches that go back and forth with a winner that we know it's predetermined? And they try to put on a sci-fi show, a sports entertainment show, a soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people automatically, not everybody, but these people I'm referring to, they'll say Jericho's never a draw. Matt Hardy, this whole broken thing, never understood it. Never like that. That's how they want to proceed. Instead of just letting these guys, I don't think that this is trying to like overtake the wrestling industry, the broken universe. It's just trying to give fans something alternate to enjoy that's not the monotony of the wrestling in ring work. And you have people that start questioning Jericho and Matt Hardy's drawing ability. I don't think they were ever perceived as like Hulk Hogan's.
And even then,
Like,
one of the greatest singles champions of all times, and one of, if not the greatest tag team champion of all times. Show them some damn respect. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, and so whether a drone's involved and Jericho's cutting a promo on it, it's funny stuff. Matt Hardy saying, "Hey, I actually, you have a song named Judas. I know the real Judas." Like
right.
That's clever. Like I said, it's Shakespearean. Aaron Rift said, sure, it kind of played off like they were rehearsing a play. Well, that's because there were no fans. If they did that same thing with fans there in that building, it wouldn't have felt like a audition or a
practice. It would have been big.
Yeah, so that's not on them. They did what they could considering. So it bothers me because, like, especially with the track record that these two wrestlers have, I just wish fans could respect and just say, hey, these guys aren't going to do it forever. One day they won't be able to do it, and all we'll have are memories. And that's every little thing they do. That's what it's not like I'm sitting here thinking, oh, WWE, dude, the League of Nations, this is an awesome faction. If you don't like it, you can eat dog shit. I'm not saying stuff like that. I specifically, when I bring in the swear words, because I know it's going to piss people on Twitter off, I was talking about Matt Hardy and Chris. I was defending Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho, legends of the business. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go and sit and put over something like that and then swear at people that don't like it if I don't think I have traction on it. But Christ, we're talking about legends of the business that are just trying to entertain people, especially now with this coronavirus pandemic.
Right. Here's the thing. If you are an adult over the age of, 18, let's say if you are a human being over the age of 16 years old and profanity offends you to the point where you're actually physically angry, you're a giant pussy and you are a waste of space. I am the most liberal, bleeding heart person on the planet, but if you are that person, you are a giant pussy, and just get over your shit and grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, right?
And then, of course, I'll call a Mark, and then I'm like, I'm a Jericho Mark. So it's not like, I can call you that, but you can't call me that.
Wrestling isn't that serious. People take it so seriously. Dude, you call people a Mark.
Especially Twitter.
It's like
Twitter's
spit in their
face.
Right. Dude, you call someone a Mark, it's like you literally went up and spit in their face. Like, that's how upset people get. The same reaction to if I came up and just, keyed their car right in front of them and gave them the finger and drove off. Like, these people freak out. They're just a bunch of giant pussies.
Twitter's about having fun. Like Wendy's. Look at Wendy's.
Wendy's is a great Twitter.
They have fun with their Twitter. Now, they're not saying F-bombs like me, but I'm in a position where it's virtue, my character. On Twitter, I can swear if I want to. Chris Jericho swore a lot lately, right? It's just, and people get offended. Like, if they really think me tweeting out as virtue, if they don't like something I like, they can eat dog shit. Well, maybe they ate dog shit before and they were mad about it. I don't know. Like, it's just nuts. But have you been catching up with Dynamite? I know you haven't been a big fan of these empty arena shows. So have you watched much the last 2 weeks of AEW?
Yeah, I did. I watched them. I didn't watch them live because I need to be able to fast forward because the sports entertainment storytelling side of it is still good. I still enjoy that. But some of the matches, man, with that empty arena, it just falls flat. The moments don't seem big to me. It does feel like rehearsal. It feels like just like a dry run to run through everything. A good dress rehearsal, if you will. But yeah, man, I've been watching it. And outside of the Dark Order, I think everything in AEW looks pretty damn good.
So you don't like the Dark Order. Now,
no.
You
No, I
talked
don't.
about Brody Lee. Do you wish that maybe Brody Lee, kind of with this new character he has, he just kind of dismantles the Dark Order and just
Yeah.
sucks it all in as his one being, and he's just Brody Lee?
Yeah. I think the Exalted one could have been good if they didn't have, was it Grayson? The Grayson, see, the thing is, Evil Uno as like a
Those guys that like
spokesperson.
do the trapeze or the tightrope walking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh God, those, I forget those people are even a thing. I forgot they existed, that other tag team that joined them. But like, that Grayson guy, man, he looks like a homeless Viking cosplay guy from like 1999 after a couple of those movies came out during when we were growing up. I just don't think he has a good look. I don't really care about him. Stu Grayson, I think his name is. Evil Uno, I think would be a good spokesperson. But again, a guy who is in the shape of me should not be putting on a BDSM mask they found in their parents' attic and go out there and pretend to be a pro wrestler.
He followed me on Twitter once.
Did he really?
Like what? Yeah,
He
because I
was
was
into
like, "Who's
Super
this?"
Smash
This
Brothers.
was way before AEW, and it
Yeah.
was Evil Uno, and I was like, "Oh, it's some indie wrestler." And then like, I don't know what happened; doesn't follow me anymore. But I must have said something bad about the Dark Order. But
Right.
yeah, like I know what you mean, though.
Nice.
Dude.
Yeah, I just think he sucks. I think him and Stu Grayson suck. I don't care. I think Brody Lee should have been the one to start this whole thing up, be the Exalted one, and come out and make his own faction. That would have been more entertaining. Because the guy's a hell of a promo, man. He's great.
Now, I know there are people that you dislike in AEW, like a lot, right? And we'll say Marco Stunt is one of them.
Marco Stunt's actually the top of that list. Him and Joey Janela, and
yes, I'm giving Orange Cassidy benefit of the doubt.
Hey man, I've been entertained by Orange Cassidy. So,
but those other two still. But what I want to know, and I know, and I'm not expecting you to say the Jerichos and the people that we know of the past, the Moxleys. Is there somebody in AEW that has caught your eye that you know you're looking at and you're like, wow, this could be somebody in the business? Not the next Hulk Hogan necessarily, but like a next generation of a Jeff Hardy or an Eddie Guerrero or anything like that. Because there's one guy in particular, you might already know what I'm going to say, so I'll let you go first. Anybody like that you think could be like a pretty good upper mid card guy if booked right?
Yeah, I think it's Sammy Guevara. Someone that I actually wrote off 100% on his first match because he had that horrible fucking panda gimmick thing. But he has natural ability. He has natural believability as a heel. I think him being closely working with Jericho is just very advantageous for such a young guy. And his body of work is great. His ring work is great. And he's so young that I think he's going to be great. Now, if we were going to go back when we first made these videos, God, I don't know how long ago, but when AEW was just a concept, I said MJF back then. And I still think MJF's the next big thing.
But that's kind of a given, though.
But that's a given now. Everyone knows that.
We're talking
Sammy Guevara, man. He has something special, and there's just something about him. I think he has that it factor. Him and my runner-up might have been your choice, which was Darby Allin.
Yes, Darby Allin. I've watched this guy work in the Indies. There's just something Jeff Hardy about him.
Reckless abandon, yeah, man.
Yeah, but I don't think he has. You never know with these guys. I don't think he has the one thing about Jeff Hardy, he still made it and got pretty big, but he held himself back more than he could have because of his demons. Mm-hmm. I don't think Darby Allin has these demons. These vignettes that he does, and he does a lot of them with the skateboard and the fires, and I love this. And when I see Jake with Lance Archer, I'm not sold on Lance Archer yet, but Jake might get me there.
Holy shit, dude. Yeah, that Jake promo was good, wasn't it?
I want Jake with Brody Lee, but Brody Lee's talking pretty good on his own, so I get now why they're not doing that. Maybe Lance Archer needs it.
Isn't Lance Archer only like 8 years younger than Jake the Snake Roberts, though?
Yeah. But here's the thing. With the way Jake works these promos, and Lance Archer could be a heel, Darby Allin and Lance Archer, that could be a great mid-card feud. Like, that's the type of stuff. Could you imagine Darby doing his things, Jake doing his things, and ultimately it leads to a pay-per-view match with Lance Archer and Darby Allin? I like the dark. I like the sci-fi. I like the mystery. I like the stuff building up to these matches.
Yeah.
So that, to me, Darby Allin's my go-to guy. But speaking of that Jake promo, dude, how many takes? I asked Vince Russo. He thinks, and he agreed with me. We think it only took one take.
Yeah.
That he literally said what was on his mind and
Yeah.
they didn't have to reshoot it. Would you agree with that, or do you think he had to do it a couple times?
No, I bet you he had some bullet points. I bet you on the drive over there, he probably, went over some stuff and had some things he wanted to say, but you could tell that was not written, that he may have had ideas and bullet points of getting a certain point across, but he told a story. And that's just, man, when I watched that Jake the Snake Roberts promo, I said, this is what is missing in professional wrestling right now.
And what makes it better?
What's that?
The demons that he had to conquer thanks to DDP, his voice isn't the same. It's raspy. He's been hell and back with the drugs and the alcohol, but yet he got to the point where he's at now, where he's clean, supposedly. He seems like it. And it just gives you that extra mileage, and I believe it more because I hear all of Jake's agony and pain over the years. Personally,
he sounds like the old, like raspy rundown. He was like a Johnny villain. He was like an old villain cowboy. You know what I mean? That used to be an outlaw that just did all this crazy shit. Maybe went to jail, and then he kind of served his time, and now he's just this wise old dude to some guy who just doesn't know any better. But he's full of wisdom. And Jake Roberts, man, him, Piper, there's just very few people that can cut a promo like he can. Actually, is Jake Roberts the best promo that's still living? I mean, I know we have Flair, but can Flair still deliver the promos that Jake was doing? I mean, I'm sure
Flair's
he could.
A flamboyant promo, like The Rock. Like they're flamboyant promos. Jericho's flamboyant promo, mostly when he had that run as the heel with the suit. He did the cold calculating, But so just in terms of sheer, I want to say darkness and evil type character, like cold, like psychological.
Yeah.
Jake the Snake Roberts. I can't think of anyone other. Piper was to a point early in his career. Then Piper became more flamboyant. Jake was never, ever a flamboyant promo. He was always the cold psychological.
Oh, yeah. And he'd always go, trust
nobody is better. Now, again, you can't compare him with The Rock because they were different style of promos. Just as that cold calculating promo, nobody, never. I can't think anybody that was ever better than him.
And anyone who doubts us and thinks we're just on the Kool-Aid, go back and watch some of Jake the Snake Roberts, some of his promos.
6, before the match with the $1 Million Man. I just watched it the other day.
Yeah. Man, those old WrestleManias are great, aren't they? Oh, they're so much fun.
I started at 5.
I saw you were tweeting about it a couple of days ago.
Because I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 so many times. So I started with 5. I'm going like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
And that'll be my fix. But back to AEW. Like, I think I'm even going to make – I was going to make the thumbnail, the Matt and Jericho. But, I mean, I've used Jericho so many times. I think I'm going to go to the Jake, the in front of the fire. I hope I can find that. But what else has caught my eye? The women's division, like we know about that, right? They put the belt on.
Britt Baker is at least getting character now and screen.
I'm attracted to like Rio, but like the Sheeta, or what's the other girl's name? The Japanese girl.
Riho?
No, not Riho. It's the other one. But she's out there a lot grinding, and I'm gonna look her name up right now.
Can we also go on record and say that Big Swole is the stupidest name for a wrestler?
Hikaru Shida.
Okay.
She's in my Asuka, Kairi Sane, Io Shirai like bubble. So I watch women's division because she's in it.
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna up coronavirus.
No, I have terrible allergies this time of year. I get this way every year.
So, they need more time. The women's division definitely needs more time. I don't know what they're doing with this Young Bucks and whole elite angle. We'll have to see. The Hangman Page still seems like he's going to defect at some point. I'm still just kind of baffled on Kenny Omega's just basically just existing there.
Oh, God, he's so fucking boring, dude. Oh, my God.
Like, I mean, why aren't they at least doing the New Japan Kenny Omega? Because he doesn't have the right people to work with over here. I'm baffled.
I don't know how well he works.
He's lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he works well with some of the honestly, I think that's the reason AEW probably exists, is because Kenny Omega, I don't think would do very well in a WWE environment. I don't think he would do how would he do matches against Braun Strowman or some of these big guys?
Yeah.
And I know we kind of talked about it on the review about Braun Strowman, but let me ask you this. If Braun Strowman went to AEW, how big of a deal would that be? Because the biggest person I believe they have is Hager, right?
He'd have to be the number one heel. He can't be babyface. That, especially like I said, what he said about the indie wrestlers. Well, that AEW crowd is all Google Gaga over indie wrestlers.
Oh,
So that would be the ultimate heel. Another guy that could go to AEW to be a top heel, Ryback, because of the things that he said. These guys have set the table. If AEW ever wants to do business with them, to come in as these monster heels because of the things they've said. So there you go. The one guy I'd like in AEW, not CM Punk, Jeff Hardy. I mean, I want to see this whole Senior Benjamin. I mean, Rebby, right? The kids, well, not the kids, but they would put him in the backyard scenes like they did in TNA. Right. That's what I really want in AEW. But like, I do not watch NXT. I mean, especially live that night. I watch it later.
I haven't watched NXT in 2 weeks now. I don't really know what's going on with them. I just know that their live show with no fans was and everyone's told me it was kind of a one-off thing. One episode I didn't want, or that I got turned off of, was bad. But man, I really can't do it. And AEW actually understands how this process is done, and they at least make it entertaining with their sports entertainment. Wrestling match after wrestling match, 5-star after 5-star, 20-minute match after another. To me, I'm just getting bored of it. I don't know.
You know what I noticed AEW doing when they do the live matches? They're dumbing down the arena sound where you can hear the hollowness.
Yeah.
And they're doing like Shivani people talking backstage over that. So you can hear the wrestlers saying things in the moves, but they change the audio volume. And right. And it doesn't make it feel as empty. Whereas in the Performance Center, I don't think WWE's doing that.
I don't think they care.
Yeah, they're mailing it in because they're the WWE, damn it. But that's all I got. I wanted to, put over the broken universe in AEW for the fans that hate it. I'm glad we talked about Jake's promo, and that's our take on AEW this week. Anything you'd like to add?
No. Yeah, I think we got it. Most wrestling fans are annoying on Twitter. I think we covered that. We covered Jake, and we covered some of the other AEW topics we want to do. I think that's a successful show.
Yep. And Moxley's the current champ, so let's see what's next for John.
He sure
Moxley.
Is.
All right. Well, I think Jericho might get another match. Like I said, I wanted Jericho to win it back.
Jericho should get it back.
Yeah, but we'll see how he might feud with Matt. I wouldn't be opposed to that. If Jericho did not go back for the title, but feuded with Matt for a couple of months, perfect. Yeah. So with that said, do your plug, and we will take it home.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at NoDQVice. Go ahead and remind me on a daily basis that I am the smartest guy in the room in every conversation I have that has to do with wrestling. You can find me a bunch of other places. Virtue, if they want to see me here, they want to see you here, they want to see us together. Where are the best places for them to see more Virtue and Vice?
Over on NoDQ.com on the NoDQ review. Of course, once in a blue moon, we'll do a show for Andre Corbeil over on WrestlingWithWrestling.com. And we try to do these ones weekly, the Virtue and Vice show, right here on the BigVitoBrand.com. And I can't wait to get this one up because I want to see all those people that got pissed at me on Twitter for hurting their feelings. I want them to listen to this conversation just because, Twitter is about having fun. Look, I don't not like you as human beings, but, and the people that come back at me saying, well, it's our opinion, we have the right to it. Well, when you kind of say, performers, it's something stupid and you're talking about legends, it's not like I liked something Orange Cassidy did and somebody else said it was bad, right, or vice versa. I was talking about two legends of the business, and I feel like as a fan of theirs from the 90s, I have that right, or that, what's the word I'm looking for, Robbie? Like I need to be that guy
the insight
that defends them later in their career.
That was your childhood.
When newer fans just don't get it, I'm trying to basically say, give it a chance before you have to go on Twitter and say, I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe after a month you say that, I'll back off. But anyways, you can follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. So that's it for this week's Virtue and Vice here on the BigVitoBrand.com. We will see you next time.